There you go.
Good evening. Welcome to What's New. Tonight we have some two guests, James Woodridge and Jean Russo, and we are going to turn it over to Iris, and she's got some announcements she'd like to make before they start. So, Iris, you can take over.
Okay. I've got a few announcements that we didn't get in at our last show because we had a guest on that just was full of information, and we really enjoyed her, so we just let the announcements go to the end, and we messed up and didn't save enough time. So April is Parkinson's Awareness Month, so everybody keep that in mind. On the 17th at the Oris Theater, Paul Cameron is going to have art, and that will be from the Civil War period. It's his art, and I think he's showing some other also. Tomorrow evening is a pro-life dinner at the KC Hall. It's at 6 o'clock in the evening. Everybody is welcome to come. They have a wonderful speaker. Let me find his name here. John Applebaum. He's a Missouri deputy for the Knights of Columbus. And you can bring a covered dish if you want, or else you can just come and bring your bodies and sit down and enjoy the meal and enjoy the talk. Patty will also be there with her girls singing. And I guess that's about it for that. And the Vincentian Youth Group will be the 25th. Bob Mueller will be the 25th. And Jean Grifford. Jean will be talking about Parkinson's disease, and Bob about the School of the Soldier. So now we'll introduce James and Jean, and they're going to give us some information about the St. Genevieve Art Guild. James and Jean, whichever one wants to go first, go ahead.
Thank you for inviting us.
You're welcome.
We're
glad
pleased to be here. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on. James is president of the Guild, can fill you in and your audience on most of what's happening.
Okay.
And one of the first things we want to alert the audience to is our new website, because almost all the information we bring up today and anything that we fail to mention today can be found online at artstgen.org. That's ARTSTEGEN.org.
Okay.
Lots of information on there. I have it drawn up right now. This is the home page, and as you see, there's all kinds of information you can pull down on the menu. Just look for information there. If you don't find the information you want, there's the ability to contact us and ask questions.
Okay.
The new website is very exciting, and we want to put a big thank you out to Wade and Diane Wilson, who made it possible for us to step into the 21st century and to have an online presence. Many art organizations across the country have begun using the internet as a way of introducing people to their artists and their activities. We had not been able to do that until Wade and Diane came to our rescue and came up with what is really a first-class site. Even people who don't have a particular interest in the arts but maybe are techies should take a look at the site. And James, you can tell them where it is again, the www, because it really is a first-class kind of product.
It is. It's very nice. I like the way the pictures rotate.
Yes.
That's really neat for each artist. That's good.
Not only does this cover events that are sponsored by the Art Guild, but every art event that we happen to hear about in the community, we link to it, so you can find the information here. Another thing that's going on, and this is thanks to Jean, we have a newsletter now. You can get that online also. Here it is online. And Jean has a printout here for anybody that does not go online.
That's a wonderful newsletter.
Oh, that is
You can get it by snail mail, but we do encourage you, because you'll get it much faster, once a month. Usually we try to aim to have it out during the first week of the month. To check out the website, and there is a place on the website where you can view the whole newsletter. And this past month, April, it was 3 pages. That's the biggest one we've had. This is our 3rd issue, and we are going to try and have it come out monthly. And it contains news about what's going on in the art community and activities, and also highlights what some of our members are doing. And there are some very exciting kinds of things happening. people from our own little St. Genevieve art community are showing art throughout the region, and we are inviting artists from other places in the region to come to show in St. Genevieve. At the Hayloft Gallery just recently had exhibits by students from Mineral Area College, as I recall.
That's correct. We've also sponsored artists from Cape Girardeau in the past, and we'll be doing that again soon. There's an exchange going on between our community and Cape Girardeau, for example. The Art Guild exhibited there last year, a very successful show, and we're going to be there again this June. Details will be online at artstgen.org.
And you don't have to be a member of the Art Guild to get the Art Guild newsletter. You can just, do you have a place on there where they can contact you and request
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Okay, you
can
want to
sign
tell them where
up
it's
to
at?
get the. You can sign up to get the newsletter right on the website. You can also submit information that you think might be appropriate for the newsletter from the website, and let us know if you are an artist or if you're interested in the arts, if you know about something that's going on in the arts field. We'd like to know about it.
And we're very fortunate. I'm a member of the Art Guild too, and Mary Ann's a former member, and I think the Art Guild's very fortunate to have you doing the newsletter because you know what you're doing, and it's great.
We have a terrific group of artists in the Art Guild, and I think that that's our real strength. We just need to let other people know about it. And I think we're trying to think of as many ways as we can to let the general public know that St. Genevieve has for many, many years been an active art community. And that's a feed-in for you to talk about this year's promenade.
This year's promenade, which would come, I guess, October again. We're celebrating the 80th anniversary of the founding of the St. Genevieve Art Colony, which was founded back in the 30s. We celebrate it each year. One of the best exhibits we had was just a couple years ago when we had that wonderful exhibit that we brought in from the State Historical Society of Thomas Hart Benton originals that I had never seen before. At the same time we were doing that, the Bolduc House had a bunch of Thomas Hart Benton prints that they borrowed from the Mercantile Library collection. This year, there's a call for art here. We are trying to get as much original art from colony members, art colony members from the 1930s that we can find. So anybody in the community that wants to lend their art for a few days to be part of this special exhibit should contact the Art Guild.
Right, and they can be anonymous too. If you don't want your
Yes.
name mentioned, that you have the art, it's displayed with anonymous on it, so you
That's
don't
right.
have to worry about anybody knowing who's got what.
Exactly.
And there is security, and steps are taken to protect the art that is loaned. We have managed to borrow art successfully in the past. We're hoping for a really good response. In prior years, various members of the colony, people who were associated with the colony, have been featured during promenade. And the one that comes to mind as one of the latest for me is when Vorst was featured, the featured artist. But there's a dimension to the colony and the Summer School of Art that you miss, I think, when you focus on one or two artists. And that's the collaborative nature of the work they were doing. They were learning from each other, and they were influencing each other while they were working here in St. Genevieve each summer. And what we're going to try to do this year is to get a real sampling, hopefully at least one work by each of the 13 or so artists who were involved, so that people can see those interconnections and so that we can all understand them a bit better. Some very talented artists were involved in that group, some of them very well known like Thomas Hart Benton and Joe Jones. But there are some lesser known folks who were very influential in the regionalism movement, and we see their work less often, I think.
Now, was Martillo considered a member of the
Yes.
Art Colony? Okay.
Yes, and of course Martial is, if she's not familiar to most people in St. Genevieve, certainly her mural is, because
Right.
it's in the
Yes.
post
Post
office,
office,
the
right.
mural of the Lagioni.
And she has a brother that's in St. Louis, Martin. Yep.
There was a very nice exhibit about the art colony in Columbia last year at the Museum of Art and Archaeology, and we may be able to get a few pieces of art from that exhibit brought to St. Genevieve. And we're working on that. No details yet, but check the website when it gets closer to
Yes.
Promenade.
Yeah,
We'll let
that'll
you know
be
what's going to
great,
be there.
yeah.
There's also another thing that we're looking for from people from St. Genevieve. There are people who have memories, we think, of the time when the art colony was operating here. Maybe they were children, maybe they were in their teens or young adults during the time when the colony was functioning, which was 1932 to 1941, I believe.
Exactly.
So there's a stretch in there where there are probably some people around who may have met some of these artists or remember going to one of the summer shows or the sales that they held. We also think that there's a possibility that there may be some memorabilia out there, maybe a note written by an artist or a letter that was exchanged, some kind of evidence of contact with the art community. And anyone who has any of that kind of thing, we'd also love to borrow it. We promise we see these things as treasures, just as we see the paintings as treasures. And we will take very good care of them. But if anyone has old photographs or newspaper clippings or more personal kinds of connections to the colony, boy, would we like to hear from them.
So everybody out there hear that? If you know anything about any of the artists that were in the art colony, contact the Art Guild. Everybody knows members. If you don't, you can ask the City Hall or somebody, and they'll know.
We're hoping that within the next week or so, the local media will be carrying a story about our search for art and artifacts related to the colony, and all the contact information will be in there. It also will be on the website, not yet, but it will be on the website very shortly, so people will know who to get in touch with about contributing that kind of assistance to us in putting together what we hope is going to be one of the most exciting and important promenades we've ever had.
Yes. The art colony was very important. A lot of people don't realize yet how important the art colony was. Some very important things were happening in the art world internationally at that time, and Thomas Hart Benton was at the forefront of the regionalism movement, which is largely forgotten by your average person. All the artists know about it, but a lot of other people don't. But there was like a competition going on between that and the European influence that was bringing abstraction into art. Now, abstract art eventually won that battle, but Benton was concerned about it because he thought that was going to kind of dilute the Americanism of the art because of the strong European influence. Fortunately, one of Benton's students, Jackson Pollock, took hold of abstract art and made it very American. So America finally, they held their own when it came to abstract art. Now, enough time has gone by that people with this newness of abstract, we are able now to bring them back together. And a lot of us are doing that. I do it in my own art, where we bring the abstract art in with our realism, and they don't have to be at war anymore. So it's at peace now.
For people who may not be completely familiar with the art colony and its work, we do want to credit the Women's Club, the St. Genevieve Women's Club, with having put together a collection of paintings by members of the colony. Those are on view at the Welcome Center and have been for some time, thanks to the generosity of the Women's Club. And some of those paintings also have been incorporated into earlier exhibitions that focused on the colony. But you can see some of that art at the Welcome Center just any time when they're open. We're hoping to pull together a considerable amount more of that so that people can get a broader picture of what the colony was about.
Right. And Thomas Hart Benton was in the Branson area, well, down by the School of the Ozarks. And at the museum down there, they have a lot of his work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very interesting. In
It's
fact, they have a
probably-
tree from St. John.
Really?
The big one that was cut down by the cemetery. It's big and it's engraved on there, so.
He is probably the best known of the artists from the colony.
Yeah, it definitely is, yeah.
But he's not necessarily the one who will become your favorite if you become familiar with the art. There are some very moving pieces by various artists who focused on the local community, used actual residents of St. Genevieve as models for their paintings. And it not only is it a look back at the colony and the Summer School of Art, it's a look back at St. Genevieve and the way we were in the 30s and the early 40s.
Right.
Now, if we can bring us into the modern time, the Art Guild has kind of taken the place of the art colony right now as far as keeping things vibrant, bringing artists into the area, which we still do. We still reach out to the best artists we can find, and St. Genevieve attracts artists from a wide region. And art walks are something that nobody should miss. If you can get this up, we'll be hanging banners out now during each art walk. The banners will resemble this. We had a wonderful art walk back in March. This is the fourth Friday of each month. The Art Guild has exhibits, plus there are sometimes as many as a dozen other venues in town that will have art exhibits. There's free refreshments. It's a wonderful party.
Right.
We had a
Yes,
great
it is.
time.
Yes, it
And
is.
this banner will be hanging at each gallery that is open
That's right.
on the fourth Fridays. That, you'll see that banner
So
that's
you
on
can
screen right
identify
now.
where an exhibit is going on at that. And something that we did last time with the previous art walk is we offered a prize, a work of art. And so as you went from gallery to gallery, you would view, there would be a piece of art at most of the venues that would be part of the raffle, where you could win a piece of art. And you could pick the one. So at the end of the night, we draw the name of everybody who participated in the drawing, and then they get to pick. Well, I saw one back and this time they picked Merchant Street Gallery. That picked a piece back there.
Now, who was that
Bill
won?
Stephanie Bell won.
Yeah.
Stephanie Bell, that's
Oh,
right.
darn.
I knew
Yes.
who it was and I forgot. It
And
was
she picked
Stephanie.
a lovely panoramic
Yeah.
photograph
Oh, the
of
St.
St.
John.
Genevieve.
Right.
And
Yes.
she had a choice of 7 or 8.
Do you know the guy that took that is my great uncle?
Oh, really?
Really?
Billy
See, there are
Smelfeld. I was
connections
wondering.
everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's DeSoto. He's in DeSoto. Yeah.
Oh, good.
The art
Yes,
walks are a
yeah.
great deal of fun. Sometimes some venues have music. They all have refreshments, and sometimes the refreshments are wonderful. Mary Para opened her new gallery and shop at the last art walk, and I understand that the chicken wings were to die for. I think her partner Joy's husband made them, and they were stupendous, I've been told. There's something going on at each of the venues, something different at each of the venues. There's an opportunity to see art, to meet new people, to chat with old friends, and have a lovely Friday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. on the fourth Friday.
And when it's warm, there's always tables outside to sit
Yes.
at.
Yes.
Yes.
And there
And
are
that's
some,
nice.
there are some stores that do have some artwork in it that's not,
Right.
That's right.
that's
Yes.
not advertised.
And there's a lot of
Yes.
businesses that are open that do not even carry art. So
Yes.
Right.
check out the
Yeah.
whole town when you
Yeah,
know.
downtown comes alive on the fourth Friday. It really is a
Absolutely.
fun evening.
There's shops, there's gift stores, there's restaurants are open. It is the funnest night of the month.
Yeah. You can
Yeah.
grab dinner and then go look at art. Yeah.
Now,
I enjoy
this
that
fourth
night.
Friday in April, which is the 27th, as I recall, the Guild is opening a new mini kind of show featuring cardboard art. And James, you might want to tell the audience what that's about.
Well, of course, you can find out more information online, But this is art, it's in celebration of Earth Day, and we are recycling cardboard. And so we are making art out of cardboard. I haven't made mine yet. Jean has a couple already completed.
Her
You have
one
one
is really
completed.
cool. Wait till you see it. You have to go. You have to go to Barnwood and Bedpost to see it, or Barnyard, whichever one you want to call it. Thanks to Mary Ann.
Yeah, I kind of screwed that name up.
She renamed it Barnyard and Bedpost. I bet Sheila gets tired of hearing me say that.
Now,
I think it's funny.
we have something else going on there too. It's
great.
the continuation of the sun art, which I think I neglected this, so it's either turning off or starting up again. But where each of us are invited, and now we've opened it up to everybody in the community.
Right, I
Anybody. You
saw
don't have
that.
to be an
That's
art guild
neat,
member.
yeah.
Bring in your art. We're asking that for wall hanging art that it fits into a 12-inch by 12-inch space. And we are doing pictures of the sun that are based on the logo for the CBS News Sunday morning program. So anybody that's not familiar with that show, check it out. Sunday mornings, comes on at 8 o'clock. But they do these logos of the sun, a stylized sun, and there are several examples that are currently hanging over at the Guild Gallery inside the Barnwood and Bedpost.
Couple of
Gallery.
dozen.
Very good.
But we want more. We have like 20 plus pieces over there right now, but I want to build this up. So we're going to add more each month. So I invite everybody to bring 1, 2, 3 pieces in. If you want to do something that's three-dimensional, it's going to sit on the floor. I haven't determined any kind of size limitations there. It has to fit through the door, I guess. But if you can get it in, we'll try to exhibit it. Eventually, I want to photograph all of these pieces of art and send them to CBS News in New York. They use viewer-submitted art on their program. So if you ever watch their show, you'll notice it's a news program, like a magazine type show, and at the end of each segment that might last 10 or 15 minutes at the most, they will punctuate it by bringing up a piece of art on the screen. And many of these have been submitted by viewers like us. So we're going to submit all of these paintings of the sun that we produce here in St. Genevieve to CBS News. And I'm hoping that we have a large enough quantity that we will kind of really get their attention. We'll break a record.
I think
We'll have
that's
the
a great
most
idea.
suns from a single community.
Yeah. And
then
all the craft people out there, I mean, you've got all kind of stuff in your boxes. Go look at the exhibit there and come up with something, because you crafters can do as well as the artists do.
Oh,
in
yes,
this
yes,
product.
all kinds of possibilities.
Right.
So on Fourth Friday in April, those who participate in the Art Walk can see the continuation of the Guild's Spring Art Show, which opened at Fourth Friday in March, the Suns, the Here Comes the Sun project, and the outside and inside the box cardboard art exhibit.
Yes.
So there's a lot to see this Fourth Friday, and then even more will be coming up in May.
Yes.
Gone.
We hope to have more sun art even in May.
Yes, and
And-
May will open the garden show.
A garden show, that's right.
In conjunction with the Garden Walk, which is the weekend of the 19th. And so instead of opening on a Fourth Friday, that show is scheduled to open during Garden Walk weekend, and we think there'll be some nice surprises. Garden-themed art. All of this for the Art Guild takes place at the Guild, what we call the Guild Gallery, at Barnwood and Bedpost, which of course is in the old Rozier building.
That's where I have my art exhibit.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Got there. I've got some pieces down at Kathy Lawson's too.
So if you go into Barnwood and Bedpost, Mary Ann's art is on display on the shelves. Down at Kathy Walsh, she has your spoons and your
I have my
some cards.
spoons and cards, and also the wood, the black wood that I did floral on.
Okay.
And I also have some down Cape Girardeau in
Ooh.
southeast Missouri.
Oh, on the hospital exhibit.
On the hospital exhibit. I got 2 of them chosen.
Good.
So I was very happy.
We have
Yeah.
artists from this community showing in many different locations. this last newsletter listed some of them. Diane Wilson was a featured artist on a WSIU TV program called Expressions. I guess that was in about the middle of March, but I think they replay those. Pat Ferguson and Janet Krause had a show at the Arnold Recreation Center. 3 of our artists, Juanita Wyman, Iris, and myself, have work in a show in Cape Girardeau at the Southeast Missouri Council of the Arts. Padre, whose last name is escaping me. Iris, you have to help me out here.
I can't help you.
Okay.
Sorry.
We can look him up online.
Yeah. Yeah,
Padre
pull
Payne.
pull him up and
There you
show
go.
Padre
yeah.
Payne,
Yes.
Robert Payne, has work at 2 government buildings, one in Washington, Missouri, I believe, and one in Union, Missouri. And of course, Padre and Anita Alsop both have work that is under consideration in Wichita for the Presbyterian Manor of Mid-America's
Right.
2013 calendar, Art is
That's
Ageless. There are various people in the community who are showing in many places. Lulu Cameron is preparing for a show in the Detroit area at the end of May. So our artists are going lots of places and doing interesting things, but you can always find some of their work here.
Always.
Do you want to pull up somebody's and show them how, show the audience or the, if
Yes.
anybody's out there and wants to call in and ask any questions, the number's on the screen, 883-7675.
We're always open for calls.
Okay. This is our artist page. Now, because the website's new, we're only in our 2nd month, I guess, right now.
Yes.
You want to zoom in on
all of-
that, Don? I asked Don if he wanted to zoom in on you again. Yeah.
So all of our artists don't have their work on here yet, but several of them do. I'll just start with, let's look at Carolyn Bach. And so you can, our artists will have up to 5 pieces of art on here. There could be a link to another web page if they have their own website. Wade, who is very clever about this, though he tells me this is very difficult to do, he set these up for like a slideshow.
Right, they're great.
They're
All I have to
great.
do is just sit here, and it's going to show me several
Right.
of Carolyn's work, and then she can put her contact information down here, her bio, stuff like this. I've got one like this. I believe Jean has one up.
No,
Not
I
yet.
don't. Not yet.
Get busy, Jean.
Yeah.
But each Art Guild member is invited to have one of these pages.
Yeah, I think
Wow.
mine's up now too, I believe.
And some people, like Diane Wilson, has her own page, and there's a link to her
Right.
own website elsewhere. So she'll have her abbreviated information here, like we all have, but then you can go to her larger website with a click.
So everybody out there, go on to stjenartguild.com. Is that what it is?
ArtSt.Jen.com.
ArtStJen.com,
Is
sorry.
it www.artstjen.com?
.com.
Yes.
And
Okay.
check out the artists that are in
No,
town, and you.
.org.
Yeah.
Sorry.
.org.
Oh, it's
Yes,
.org. Okay, we'll go.
We had our choice.
We'll do that
I
one
thought
more
org
time.
sounded
Okay.
more official.
It's artstjen.org.
Yes.
Okay.
And if any of this, if any of the people out in your viewing audience, if this sounds exciting to you, if you're interested, whether you consider yourself a beginning artist or a professional artist, or just someone who is interested in supporting the arts, please think about the possibility of membership in the Guild. It's very inexpensive. A full regular membership at this time is $24 a year. And for that, you get to meet a lot of nice people, participate in workshops that are offered at various times during the year to improve your skills as an artist or learn new skills, and a chance to associate with some very nice, very talented people.
And what's the day? What date are the the meetings, and where are they at?
The meetings are
If anybody
held.
would like to come They're welcome.
They're the fourth Tuesday of each month. Usually it's in the evening at 6:30. Occasionally we will have one during the day, and there's plenty of advance notice if we're going to have a day meeting.
Where you have them at?
We've been having them at the Patkey Room.
Okay.
In the extension
yes,
office.
Yeah.
in the
Yes.
extension office.
Now, in June and July, there are no meeting, right?
That's correct. There aren't any scheduled at
Right.
this time on the calendar.
But maybe plein
Yeah.
air.
But there are activities that may occur. There's a paint out that's tentatively scheduled for sometime in June. And July and August tend to slow down a bit, but that's because the art community begins gearing up for the September-October plein air event and for the Promenade des Arts, which occurs also in October. And we're hoping this year that we're going to be able to include some additional art activities during late August, September, and early October. We've adopted a slogan for this year, and it's "Art Happens Here," because it does, and it has for decades, for centuries really, because we need to remind everyone that John James Audubon, the famous naturalist painter, lived in St. Genevieve for a while
Right.
when he first arrived from France. And so our tradition goes back a very long way. And we think that we need to continue to build on our reputation as an art community and to remind people art happens here. And so we're going to try and have an umbrella kind of program that involves people of all ages and activities of all kinds related to the arts later this year.
Right.
You'll be able to find out about it on our website, www.
artstgen.org.
Okay. I've kept that down.
I bet people
Okay.
are online already. Let's see.
Yeah.
See how many hits we got
Yeah.
during this.
During the
this
program.
You know, we
Okay,
need
everybody
to-
go hit.
We need to give a tip of the hat
Yeah.
to the St. Genevieve Downtown Renewal Group also.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This year, St. Gen Downtown Renewal Group took over sponsorship of the Fourth Fridays
Yes.
and also is heavily involved in other art activities.
Yeah, they've been doing the plein air painting competition each year for the
Yes.
last at least
2
3
years,
years.
yeah.
They're doing a wonderful job.
Yes. And you know, there's a reason for that. The group was organized as part of a national effort. The National Trust for Historic
Right.
Preservation Main Street program is designed to help particularly historic communities revitalize their downtown areas. And there is broad recognition across the United States that one way of revitalizing a downtown is to create an art district, an art area.
Right.
It advances tourism, it helps with local sales tax, it fills up empty buildings. There have been a number of efforts, very successful efforts in this region. One of them is downtown Cape Girardeau. The Main Street there has lots of galleries, and their Fourth Friday Art Walk. I think that I had an email from someone down at the Visual Arts Co-op in Cape, which said they had about 350 people.
And that was even low.
Yes, at their first Friday event this month. Paducah, Kentucky has developed an art area
We're
which
going
is
this Saturday.
highly successful. It's great fun. Downtown Renewal Group here sees that potential, and we probably will never be as big as Paducah, but we certainly can establish ourselves as a place where art is happening and where there's something to see and something to do and a real good way to get involved with the arts.
Right. And they're a 501c, so they're eligible for grants and
Yes.
everything to
Yes.
help, which
and
is great.
contributions, which are tax deductible,
Right.
and you can earmark them for art projects if you
Right.
wish to give to Downtown Renewal Group.
As you said, we'll never be able to match Paducah or St. Louis or anything like, because we don't have the population to draw on. But what we lack in quantity, we make up and quality. And that is why St. Genevieve does attract people.
Oh,
At
yes.
our, when we have artists come in, we have artists that come in from St. Louis and Cape
Chicago.
frequently. Yes.
We've had a Chicago.
We have, we have
Artists.
St. Louis artists that live in St. Louis that have joined the Art Guild recently because they know what's going on down here is special.
And actually, we're going to Paducah this Saturday, which is their art walk. And I called down there and there's only 9 galleries gonna be open. So we've got them tied.
All right.
Maybe summertime it might be different, but right now, we've got them tied, you know. Another really neat place to go is Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Yes.
That on Friday, their fourth Friday. The town, Hot Springs is a dead town. I mean, there's nobody walking the streets hardly at all. You can go there during the day and it's like
It's dead.
5 or 6 people you might see
But
if
we
you're
don't want
lucky.
anyone to go on Fourth Friday.
Yeah, no. But anyway, then on their Friday, I don't even remember which Friday of the month it is, you cannot walk. You are shoulder to shoulder with people. I mean, it is really, really crowded.
The economic viability of the arts as a way of generating jobs and generating tax revenues is well proven. The city of Louisiana, I think it was Louisiana and Clarksville, actually created a project which dumped a lot of money into rehabbing some buildings, providing free or very low-cost rents to artists to try and build an art community. We have been so fortunate in St. Genevieve. We haven't had to do that. Our community is attracting really good quality artists who want to make their homes here or who want to practice their art here as members of the Guild or in conjunction with some of the local galleries. It's a really good way of building another economic layer into all of the normal things that
Right.
communities do with, manufacturing and tech jobs and healthcare jobs and education jobs. The art community can be a very viable economic driver, particularly for a small community that has other attractions that work well with the arts, and we definitely have that.
That's for sure.
We do. We do.
Yeah, we've got a great little town here.
Yeah.
A lot of hidden treasures.
We're trying to
For sure.
uncover them.
Right.
A lot of talent.
Yeah, there is a lot of artists, and the quilt art in town is wonderful. There are lots of really, really good quilters.
Yes.
Yeah. And we need them in the Art Guild too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you really have brought a lot of information, and I hope you all listen out there and take up on this, because they have really brought the information to you about our community, our artists, and what we stand for here. It's small, it's beautiful, but boy, we have the talent.
And if you want to know more, go to
artstgen.org.
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 I don't think we can't say it often enough.
No.
And we have a lot of artists roaming around that if you ever need to ask questions and want to know information, we're all available, and we're always in the street or in some public office of something. We're always doing something. So you can always contact any one of us.
And come October, we'll be painting on the streets again.
Yes.
Yep, the plein air starts when? The 5th? No, the 20,
It's late September. I
Right.
think it's the last Friday, Thursday or Friday in
and
September.
then the 5th
is
will be the
registration.
opening, or the judging
Yes.
of the art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can find out for sure by going online at artstgen.org.
Thank you. Thank you,
I'm
Jan.
doing that right now. Let me see what the date says.
There is a calendar, an interactive calendar
September
on the
28th.
website.
28th,
Starts
okay.
September 28th.
And,
Ends
and,
October.
And you
and
know-
the newsletter
yeah.
includes a calendar also.
And you guys out there, you don't have to be an Art Guild member to participate in the plein air.
Not at all.
No.
If you're just an artist who wants to have a good time and you can't paint very well, that don't matter. It's fun to do it. It is. Mine never did.
Lots of
Too far
prizes,
along,
too.
but they're-
Lots of
yeah.
prizes, yes. Yeah.
People who have participated in the past are aware of this, but
Right.
very generous prizes.
Right.
So
When we first started, the prizes were very, very slim, but we
Yes,
were
they
working on a slim budget. But
Yeah.
then when the downtown renewal took it over, the second year they had it, they come up with some $500 prizes, and that helped bring more people.
They've,
So,
they've done an outstanding job of organizing. It's very interesting, the entire thing. It's so professional. It's great. And we attracted the attention of a lot of artists from great distance. I
Yes.
expect we'll have more participants this year. There'll be more people fighting for those big prizes.
A
Right.
very
It's
popular
fun.
artist in the St. Louis area is Billy-O.
Yeah.
And I think lots of people maybe recognize his name. And if you're
he's-
a listener to NPR, he was one of the people who was on during their recent campaign for funding to say that he's a regular NPR listener and a sustaining member or something like that. Billy-O came down for plein air this
oh yes,
past
he's
year.
a very nice guy,
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah.
We had a
Very talented. You know,
Yeah.
I could not paint this
Yeah.
year, so I stood and watched him paint.
I think one of
Really
the things
nice pickup
that's
from him.
important about our art community is we have the absolute professionals, Allie Kavanaugh, Art Agnew, Lulu Cameron, who is very well known in Canada and the northern part of the Midwest. The people whose work is seen in places outside our region. And there
Right.
are others, and I may just have left out their names, and I apologize if I have. But then there are also the beginners, people like me, who went for 3 or 4 decades without picking up a paintbrush and are just starting.
And you do wonderful.
But there's a real, no one should feel as if they ought to be scared about being interested in the guild or being a member
Right.
of the guild, because the range is very, very broad. From people like Allie, and I think Al Agnew is an honorary member of the guild, and of course he's extremely well known all across the nation. And those of us who are really newbies
Right.
and are learning as
For
as
many
we go
years, I've been
along.
learning.
So it's
pick up all the time from somebody.
there's a place for everyone
Right.
in the organization who is interested in practicing their art or supporting the arts, because
Right.
we also have patron memberships available and sponsors for various kinds of events if people are interested in doing that.
Right. And it's very, very interesting when you have your work in galleries. This summer, toward the end of the summer session at school, or the fall. What is it? When Mac was out. That was before the summer session started. There was a exchange student here from Denmark, and she and her mother came to St. Genevieve and bought 4 of my paintings and took them back to Denmark
How
with them.
exciting!
So that was really neat, and then I got a note from her. So that really, I mean, you never know where your art's going to go.
No,
you know?
you don't. Because I found mine in an odd place this year. I went back to my hometown in Illinois, and I did face painting for the homecoming, which surprised me, but they wanted me to do face painting, and it turned out beautiful. It's kind of hard making those little hornets though on the face.
So everybody can have a good time. If artists can paint and sell paintings, I think most of you guys that are talented can do it too.
Yes, we
And
welcome you all.
everyone's invited.
Exactly.
And we sure did enjoy your presentation. Great,
Yeah.
wonderful.
So
Well,
you-
we'd love to come back in another
pleasure to
6
be here.
months or so and
Yeah.
update you on what's
That'd
happening
be
That'd be
great.
great.
next.
do
That'd
you
be
have
super.
anything else you'd like to talk about? I mean, we got some time here. I think,
One
a
more
little bit,
time.
you know.
artstgen.org.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, visit that, visit it often. But we will update everything that's happening when new things, occur to us, like, hey, here's an idea for an exhibit.
Right.
We will put it online. And there will occasionally be call for art that non-members can submit.
Yeah, so everybody out there, do make a sun painting, or you crafters, do a sun with all your craft materials, sewing, junk, There's one hanging now that's made of drapery hooks and pegboard hooks.
It's very
and
clever.
it's
Yeah.
really
Yes.
neat.
Really?
Yeah,
I
with
must get down
color
there someday.
behind it. Yeah, so there's lots of things and lots of fun. Yeah, and on the 17th, there's Paul Cameron will do Civil War sketch artist and journalist, in which he will describe how artists and writers chronicled the Civil War. That should be interesting. That's at the Oris Theater at 7 o'clock. And on the 24th of April, Tom Grimminger, I didn't know he was a Civil War historian, but he learned something new every
Oh,
day.
really? I didn't know that.
He's
And
an expert.
Is he really? Okay. Well, he's going to present St. Genevieve's war history, which will detail how the Civil War affected St. Genevieve County. So there's a lot going on, not only in the Art Guild, but other venues in town. They have encampments here too.
We've always got something
I
going.
think one of those is coming up pretty soon, isn't it? They have it in the summer.
I'm not sure what the date is, but the École de Soldats is a reenactment of a French colonial period encampment. It occurs down at the South Gabourey Creek.
Right.
And if you've not gone in past years, it is really a neat experience. And they're very friendly, and it's a great place for kids, but grown-ups will have a good time too.
Now, where are they from?
They're from Illinois.
Is that the one that's over around Carbondale and
I believe
Chester and
it
over
is.
in there?
Yeah.
Well, that's one Diane's in that.
Mhm.
I'm sure that there's will be information.
Yeah. A former
um,
Art
in
Guild
local
member
media.
belongs to that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess.
Does anybody have any questions? We still have our line open, 7675. 883-7675. We're here. We'd like to hear it ring.
And it's getting where we only have our dear Pat.
Yes, our Pat always calls us.
Yeah,
Bless her
but
heart.
tonight she hasn't, so. Okay.
Well, again, thank you
Yeah.
for inviting us.
Well, we're
and
glad you came.
We hope
Well,
to see. We know we'll see you, Iris. We hope to see you, Marianne, and
Oh, yeah.
and all of your viewers
I probably
on
will be at
April
the next meeting.
27th.
Yes,
Fourth
be sure
Friday.
to make the Fourth Friday art walk.
And you can start
great.
at any of the venues and work your way around.
Right.
And we guarantee there'll be something going on
Right.
everywhere.
The first one on Main Street, way down at the end, is Studio 221. Karen Kuhlberg and Bev Baker have that. And the next one up the line is Mary Pura. Hers is, she has antiques and art. She and
She's at 188.
188, yeah.
North Main.
And then across the street from her is Lulu Cameron.
That's
And
now
she-
Fourth Wall Artists
Oh, that's
Gallery.
right. And James is in that too.
And so am I.
And so is Jean and Diane.
And Julie Snidel.
Oh, Julie
Yeah.
Styles
And
too.
Lulu.
Okay.
And Lulu, right.
Yeah.
And then the across the street from that is the jewelry.
Only
Sam,
Child.
yeah, only child, Sam Collum.
Mhm.
And
And
then
the next up is
Diane Wilson.
DLW Studio,
Right.
formerly Center for the Arts.
Right.
Diane Wilson, who does the marvelous three-dimensional
Yes,
photographic
hers are
stuff.
beautiful,
Yeah,
right.
Very unique.
Yeah. And then Judy Sexire is at Galleria St. John. And then you go up Market Street, and Bill Nigger is there at
That would be Merchant on Merchant.
Merchant Street.
The Merchant
I said
Street
Market.
Gallery.
Wrong place. Oh,
And
okay.
the Stained Glass Shop
Right.
has art. And there are other venues, and we're going to forget someone, and they're going to be mad at us, Iris.
Yeah,
So
no.
we
Kathy Walsh has the
apologize
dress
now.
shop
Yeah,
there.
Kathy
Yes,
Waltz
Kathy
has
has art.
Mary Ann's art, and Barnwood
Yes.
and Bedpost has
Yes.
Mary Ann's, and the other side of the Barnwood has the Art Guilds.
And we apologize for anyone we've forgotten. If you come to the website, if you take a look at the newsletter, the local media also frequently has information about special things that are going on during Fourth Friday. Bolduc House has been an active participant
Very
in Fourth
active,
Friday.
yes.
Can't believe nobody's mentioned the Hayloft Gallery.
And the Hayloft
Oh,
Gallery.
well, you should have spoke
We
up.
apologize.
I
See,
did.
we said we were going to forget somebody, and we forget.
Right.
Where can you pick up the newsletters?
The newsletters, if you call one of the people in the guild, and that can be just
Okay.
about anybody. They can pass on the information, and we will put you on the email list
Oh,
to
okay.
receive it by email. And we really prefer to send it out that way. You get it faster, and of course it
Saves
doesn't
postage.
take any postage. But if you do not have access to email, but you'd like to get the newsletter, if you'll go online, take a look at the newsletter usually on page 2. I don't know if Don can pick this up. On page 2, there's a list of officers, and there's information about how to subscribe to the newsletter and how to get in contact with people connected with the guild.
Okay,
There it is. Okay.
thank you.
Also, in the St. Genevieve Herald, there's a community calendar, and most of the art events are listed in it.
Mhm.
Not necessarily which venues are open, but the art, like the art walk and anything special that the Art Guild's doing. And
I might say that Leslie Barker from the Bolduc House has taken on the task of getting information from the various venues to be able to give people a little more advance notice about who is going to be open and who or what they might be featuring at a particular Fourth Friday. And we thank her very much for taking on that task, which is time-consuming and very frustrating. I remember that from my days at the Herald.
that's why the newsletter's so well, because Jean was the former editor of the paper.
Speaking of the Herald,
So-
they have been doing a wonderful job
Yes, they have.
of informing the public
Right.
about every art event that happens.
Yes, they have.
Toby Carrick
Yes.
over there is just doing a fantastic job.
He is. He really
And we
is
also
up
have
on
to
everything.
thank Don Pritchard and Sun-Times News
Yes.
and Public Access TV for
Mm-hmm.
giving us, and KSGM for giving us the opportunity to also get the word out in that way.
Right.
And James and I are scheduled to be on KSGM later this month, talking about some of these same kinds of things and anything new that might have come up.
Yep.
Right.
Good.
And Valley Grade School has a plein air for youth, and that doesn't mean only Valley and St. John kids. Anybody out there, any youth, homeschooled, if you don't, for some reason, go to school or whatever, and you're interested in the arts, you can contact John Otto at St. John or call the office at Valley, the grade school office, and ask for a form, and one will be mailed to you. John and Angie Dalton and myself and Kay Womack, we been doing this for several years now, and the kids really get a big kick out of it, and we usually have a good crowd. We've had like 70 kids there already. So they all have fun, so anybody out there that likes art, even if you think you can't draw or think you can't do it, come anyway, because there's been a few kids that thought there's no way, and they've won because we have professional artists judge, and those artists see things that the common person doesn't see looking at. You know, like if you look at it and you're like, oh, that's not very good. Well, then an artist will see the potential in this child, and that's a fact, because I know one little boy last year, he was like so shocked because he won. He was like, I never thought I would do that. And I said, see?
You don't know what you have.
So
Yeah,
any of
yeah.
you guys come. It's the 5th, we're having the first plein air. It'll be from 3 to 5, and on Saturday it is the 5th. So that'll be from 10 to noon. And then on the 11th, I think it is, of May, I should have written it down. It'll be, let's see, 9th, 10th. Anyway, the next week in May, then after the 5th, the next Wednesday, we're going to have, I guess it's the 9th, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Okay, the 9th of May, we will have the second one, and
it.
it'll be from 3 to 5. And the awards will be given at the Valley Grade School, but they're having an art show. They always have it on Mother's Day weekend. So the awards will be given at 6 o'clock that evening, and that'll include anybody from the homeschool or St. John or Valley who wins. So anybody that enters, come on to the art show at 6 o'clock and
That would
see
include
what you
St.
want.
Joseph's and St. Agnes
Right.
and all of the outlying parochial
It's a
schools.
regional thing, right. It's been going on, I guess this is our maybe 5th year or 6th, something like that. First, it was started just as a few of us doing it. I think it was linked with Autumn Days when
Yeah,
it
we
very
didn't have
first started.
We didn't have very many.
We
at
didn't have
first.
very many money. Yeah.
We didn't
Very
have too
much
many at
money.
first.
Yeah, encouraging young artists is very important, and I think the Youth Plein Air, which is really a project that doesn't really have a sponsor at this point,
Well,
I guess.
yeah, I think Valley has kind of taken it
Okay.
over. One year, the community foundation gave us a
Yeah.
grant through the rural schools, and we were able to buy a lot of materials we didn't have.
One of the
and
things
to hold
that
it.
we didn't mention in talking about the Guild is the fact that the Guild has a scholarship program
Right.
for local high school students who intend to try and pursue post-graduation studies in the arts. And perhaps when we come back the next time, we can talk some more about that and encourage students to begin putting together. That will be in the fall probably. We'll encourage them to put together portfolios for judging in the spring.
So there's a lot of opportunities out there for adults, children, whoever. And the prizes that we give to the children are very generous also. You can either choose for first place, best of show, and first place, which we give 4 first place and 1 best of show. You can choose $25, or we can get you a $50 savings bond, whichever you prefer. And then the other prizes, there's 4 $10, I think, this year, and 4 $5. Some years are 15, some years are different, but this year it's 10, 25, or 50, and 10 and 5. So there's lots of prizes in that too. So everybody, come on out, all you little youngins, and it's a lot of fun. All the kids always have a good time.
Oh, they do. It's a lot of fun.
So, anybody else got anything on the arts?
Okay.
We are leaving. Good night.
Good night. We thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
It's
Good
been
night to
wonderful.
you all.
It's been wonderful.